Hello students, today we are going to deal regarding the another topic, that is uterine inversion. Okay, so in this uterine inversion, content. So introduction of the topic, definitions, classifications of inversion of uterus, degrees, causes, pathophysiology, signs and symptoms, diagnosis, management and prevention. These all topics today we are going to deal. Okay, so next is introductions. Here it is occurs in approximately 1 in 2000 deliveries, means one case is being seen in the 2000 deliveries, and it is a rare disease conditions, but potentially this is life threatening and complications of the third stage level. The obstetric inversion is almost always an acute one and usually complete. Okay, so next is definitions. When the uterus turns inside out, it is called uterine inversion. So inversion of uterus means uterus is turned inside out partially or completely. Either completely uterus may be coming out through the vulva, or sometimes it may be partially. Okay, partially or completely. So uterine inversion is the folding of the fundus into the uterine cavity in varying degrees. Okay, so fundus of the uterus will be falling into the uterine cavity, and that will be descending through the vulva. That is called as uterine inversion. Now inversions of the uterus is classified into mainly three types, that is according to the types, according to the degree, and according to the timing of events. So first one is according to type, that is incomplete inversion and complete inversion. Here incomplete inversion means when the fundus of the uterus has turned inside out like toe of socks, but inverted fundus has not descended through the cervix. So here what is happening, the uterus is turning inside out, means how you are going to remove the socks, right? When you are removing the socks will be getting ulta, same like that only, it is started turning inside out but it is not descended through the cervix. That is called incomplete inversion. Then complete inversion is when the inverted fundus has passed completely through the cervix to lie within the vagina or lie often outside the vaginal wall. Okay, so when it starts coming out, that is called as complete inversions. So here this is the normal uterus and tipped or retroflexed uterus, how it is flexing. Okay, so next one is according to the degree. Okay, classification according to the degree. Now first degree, the uterus is partially turned out. Okay, the uterus is partially turned out. In the second degree, the fundus has passed through the cervix but not outside the vagina. It has passed through the cervix but not outside the vagina, so it is not coming outside the vagina in the second degree. In third degree, the fundus is prolapsed outside the vagina, and in fourth degree, the uterus, cervix and the vagina are completely turned inside out and are visible outside. Okay, these are the four stages. So generally in universally there are three stages. Okay, same in complete inversion, in second stage complete inversion in the vagina, and in third stage complete inversion outside the vagina. Means in first stage incomplete, means I told you already, the fundus of the uterus will be descending out, right? It will be inside out and it will be descending down, but it is not descending, means it is not descended to the cervix, it started getting ulta. Okay, that is called as in the first degree. And second degree, it started coming out through the vagina, and in third degree totally it will come outside of the vagina. Okay, that is according to the stages. See here, first degree inverted fundus up to the cervix. Second stage, body of the fundus produced through the cervix into the vagina, it started coming out, and in third stage totally it came out through the vagina. Okay, these are the three stages. So next is according to the timing of events. So here there are three types, that is acute, subacute and the chronic. So here acute means it occurs within the 24 hours of delivery. In acute case, so within the timing means within the 24 hours of the delivery there may be chances of getting inversion of the uterus. Okay, subacute means it presents between the 24 hours and the 4 week of the delivery. So after the 24 hours, between the 24 hours and 4 weeks of the delivery, in between that time there will be a chances of getting inversion of uterus, that is called as subacute. And third one is chronic. It presents beyond the 4 weeks of delivery or in the non-pregnant stage. So in the non-pregnant stage also you may have descending of your uterus through the vagina, as well as the after the 4 weeks there will be chances of descending of uterus to the vagina, that is called as chronic one. Okay, so causes: the excessive cord tractions, that is especially with an unseparated placenta. So when there is an unseparated placenta is there, there will be excessive contractions will take place. Because of that, the ligaments and the stretchings will be more. Because of the heavy stretchings, what happens, the muscle stones will be getting loose and there will be chances of falling down of uterus. Then excessive fundal pressures, especially when the uterus is poorly contracted. Okay, then placenta accreta, and then congenital predispositions. Then congenital predisposition means by birth itself there is a weak uterus. Okay, then fundal implantations of the placenta, then either spontaneous or iatrogenic causes. These are the causes. So spontaneous, in the spontaneous here, abnormal short umbilical cord or functionally shortening by being wrapped around the fetal body. And then second one is sudden rise in the intra-abdominal pressure due to maternal coughing or vomiting. Because of coughing and vomiting also there may be pressure in the internal abdominal, and because of that what happens, there may be chances of getting inversions. Okay, then prolapsing or morbid adhesions of fundally implanted placenta, then connective tissue disorders, that is such as Marfan's syndromes. In this also there will be chances, means 40% of the chances will be there. Okay, so next one is iatrogenic. Iatrogenic means due to mismanagement of the third stage of the labor. Because of the mismanagement of the third stage of labor, there also may be chances of getting uterine inversions. That is pulling the cord when the uterus is atonic while combined with the fundal pressures. When there is combined with the fundal pressures, what happens, there will be cord pulling will be there. Because of that excessive stretching or pulling of the cord, there may be chances of inversion of uterine along with the cord pulling pressures. Okay, then Caddy's expressions while the uterus is relaxed, then faulty techniques in the manual removal of the placenta, and then while separating retained placenta from the wall, a portion may remain attached and the placenta is withdrawn. The fundus is also withdrawn. So because of attachment of placenta along with the fundus, what happens, when they are withdrawing that placenta, along with the placenta also there will be a chances of withdrawing the fundus of the uterus also. So it comes the inverted one. Okay, so pathophysiology here, a portions of uterine wall prolapse through the dilated cervix or indents forward. So when the inversion takes place, what happens, a portion of uterus or the wall of the uterus or the fundus of the uterus will start descending down. Okay, inside out, descending down, and then relaxation of the part of the uterine wall will take place. So relaxation of the part of the uterine wall means the uterine wall which is holding the uterus and which is having capacity to hold the uterus, that will be getting relaxed, and then wall will be descending down. Then simultaneously downward tractions on the fundus. Simultaneously what happens, the fundus of the uterus will be coming down and leading to the inversions of the uterus. Okay, so here in pathophysiology what they are saying is the portions of the uterine wall which is prolapsing through the dilated cervix or indented forward. So here relaxation of the wall of the uterus will be taking place. Because of that what happens, the uterine muscle tones will be getting weak. Okay, so when the after getting the muscle tones weak, there what happens, simultaneously it will be descending down. The fundus of the uterus will be coming inside out and it is coming to the vulva or vagina. Okay. Then signs and symptoms here, hemorrhage. In 94% of the cases there will be a hemorrhage, severe abdominal pain in the third stage, then hypotensions with the bradycardia, shock out of the proportions to the blood loss, or sometimes there may be a neurogenic neurogenic due to the increased vaginal tones. And then uterine fundus not palpable abdominally. When you are palpating abdominally, uterine fundus will not be able to palpate, means it is not palpable, you will not feel. Then mass in the vagina on vaginal examinations. On the vaginal examinations, you may feel the mass in the vagina, that is the descending of the fundus of uterus. Then sudden cardiovascular collapse, lumps in the vagina, and abdominal tenderness, absence of uterine fundus on the abdominal palpations. These are the signs and symptoms. Now continuations here. Shock. Shock is initially out of proportions with the amount of blood loss. So woman becomes sweaty with the bradycardia, profound hypotensions, and really cardiac arrest. So here what happens, because of the due to the blood loss, heavy blood loss is there, means they may undergo to the hypotensions, and then really cardiac arrest they may get. Then in short time there is a marked hemorrhage and hypovolemic shock. Okay, because of the heavy blood loss there may be a hypovolemic shock or hemorrhage, that's a bleeding. Okay, so diagnosis. So how it is being diagnosed? The diagnosis of the uterine inversion is based upon the clinical findings, that is bleeding. Okay, bleeding which may be severe or results in the hemorrhagic shock. It may be severe or it may be minor, that is resulting in the hemorrhagic shock. Then palpation of prolapsed uterine fundus. In this, lower uterine segments will be incomplete, vagina will be complete, and by intrauterine manual examinations also they will be finding out to confirm that uterus is uterine inversion is taking place or not. Okay. The next one is management. So in this management, uterine inversion. When uterine inversion is there, resuscitate IV access and fluid or bolus replacement will be done. So immediately they have to immediately replacement of the uterus should be done. If the uterus is replaced, okay, if it is replaced, then if yes, then remove placenta, oxytocin fusions, that is 40 units or 500 ml NS, or antibiotics is being observed. Antibiotic is being given in order to reduce the infections. Okay, if not replaced, then stabilize the patients and then do the manual replacement, manual reductions. That is, manual reduction means apply the pressures to the depending part of the uterus, simultaneously pressing with other hands on the other parts which inverted at last. Okay, so next one is O'Sullivan's hydrostatic methods. Here it dependent part replace into the vagina, 5 liter or more physiological solutions deposited into the posterior fornix, and assistant create the watertight seal. So here one by one we'll see. So for this procedures and all, TMOC should be there, and postpartum hemorrhage will be drilled, that is stoppage, and the quickest way to treat the neurogenic shock to replace the uterus. This is the quickest way to treat the neurogenic shock. Okay, so here see repositioning of the inverted uterus, that is manually, right? Manual reductions I told you. With this it is a sterile procedures here. Form a fist. You have to form a fist or grab a uterus and push the uterus into the cervix towards the umbilicus and place in the normal positions. Use the other hands to support the uterus. This is how the uterus is being replaced. Okay. The next one is O'Sullivan's hydrostatic method. So here, tube passed into the posterior fornix, assistant close vulva around the operator's wrist. By the use of your wrist, okay, you have to close the vulva, and then warm saline run into the run in until the pressure gradually restores the positions of uterus. Now warm saline they will give until the uterus is positions there. Then after that only they will be removing their hand. Okay, then vaginal roots. Through the vaginal roots also they will do, that is Spinelli's methods, Kushner's methods, and then hysterectomy. Okay, one by one we'll see here. Then Spinelli's methods here. The anterior colostomy is done, and incision on the constricting cervical ring is given for the replacement of the uterus. Here anteriorly they will do the colostomy, means opening they will make an incision and they will put a cervical ring there to support the uterus. Okay, so next one is Kushner's method, that is posterior colostomy is done and incision of the cervix is similar to that of the Snell method, same anterior and posterior, only the difference is there. Okay, so next one is hysterectomy. Hysterectomy is done, means hysterectomy means removal of the uterus. Okay, so this is done if failure of conservative treatments will be there, means treatment is getting failed, there is no chances of getting recovery, or there is no chances with the conservative surgery, then they'll go for the hysterectomy. If the family is completed also, they'll go for the hysterectomy. Family is completed